Is about blend modes and how you can create some pretty stunning designs by combining multiple images in the same document to create something completely new. We should have already covered this in this class, but this lesson will show you how you can create your own design, mixing different images using blend modes. The way that blend modes work is by combining different parts of images by focusing on their lightness, their darkness, or color and mixing all three. So I hope this video teaches you how you can create your own, and then you can go ahead and create some and submit them for this project. You can do this assignment in Photoshop or photopea in case you don't have access to Photoshop. So we're going to do this example in photopea, but if you have Photoshop, you can go ahead and do the exact same thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start by opening up my very first image, and that's going to be an image of Thor. If you're a fan of the Marvel Universe, we're going to make an image that combines several different images. I'm going to start with Thor. And so I'm going to go to the File menu and open my first image. And it's in the desktop, so I'm just going to click on the desktop and open this image right here. Now, pay very close attention to the Layers panel, because the Layers panel is where you're going to do most of the work in this project. So the Thor image is going to be my background, and that's going to remain as a layer in the bottom. And I'm going to be adding images on top, and each of those is going to have different blend modes. By the way, in case you don't know where the blend modes, I want you to remember that we already have played a little bit with blending by changing opacity in the past. When we have two or more images and we lower the opacity, which makes images transparent. This time, however, we're going to look at this menu. This menu contains what we call blending modes, and these let you combine the images and more than just making them transparent. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my first image to blend. So I have this image of lightning right here. I'm going to open it. I can probably drag it on top as well, but I can also do open in place or place embedded if you have Photoshop, and choose the image there as well. And you'll see that it adds it as another layer. So I got a second layer here. Sometimes when you import, you might have to resize. So remember, you can always do Command T to make something smaller or bigger so that it fits just right. And I'm going to go ahead and place this image somewhere in here like this. Maybe make it a little bit larger. And so that's what I'm going to have now. As you can see, the image on top covers the image underneath, right? In the Layers panel right here. So instead of changing the opacity, which would let me see through the image, all that really does is it makes the image sort of transparent. But now I want you to take a look at this menu, and I want you to see what happens when I play with these blend modes. So here's darken, here's multiply. So all of these have different ways of combining the image that's on top. Linear burn. The first set here, darken, multiply, this usually tends to emphasize darker colors of an image. And then the next set focuses on the lighter colors of the image. So you can combine the lighter parts of the image on top with the image below. Linear dodge, lighter color, overlay. And I'm going to leave it on overlay because I think this looks awesome. Here's the image without the overlay. Here's the image with the overlay. So it definitely adds a lot more pizzazz to this image. And then from then on, you might also consider that if there's parts of the image that are being sort of kind of blocked or you want to fix, you can also do masking. So if I wanted to, like, say, for example, bring the face of Thor back, I could add a mask to this layer by clicking down here. Remember the masking button? If I turn on a mask, I could paint this area with a black or white color. If I were to paint with black, it's going to bring up the face completely, right? That's way too much. I don't want it to be like that. And I also want to make sure that my brush is soft, not 100%. So if you right click, you can change that to 0% hardness. But see what happens? It's a little too intense. So if I want to bring just half of this, I can use the brush, and instead of painting with black, I can lower the opacity of the brush so that it paints it softer than 100%. And so see, there's the difference. It's a little softer. Let me make it just a little less. So see, it just takes out just a tiny bit so I can see his features and still keep the effect of the lightning. All right, now I'm going to add additional layers. I'm going to find another image from the internet, and I'm going to go on Google Images. I'm going to look for a nebula and see what I can find in images of nebulas, because this would definitely go with Thor, right? So let's say that I find something that would go well with this nebula. What's a good image? Let's see. So let's say I want to use this image. I can just right click and save it to my computer. I'm going to save it and put it on the desktop for now. You can put it in your home folder. And then I'm going to go back to photopea or Photoshop. And again, you can do place embedded or open in place. Or if you see the image on your desktop, you can just drag and drop. I'm going to just do open in place here and look for the nebula image. And now I've got a third image. So I've got my third layer on top. I want to make sure that I do Command T and resize this. If you're using photopea, by the way, it is actually Control T. So keep that in mind, because if you do Command T, it might actually do something completely different. So again, this image covers the image below. But if I add a blend mode, now I can see underneath it, right? And again, this image is partially covering the face of Thor, and I don't know if that's the way that I want it. So what I'm going to do is, again, I could add another mask in here and a brush, and I can paint with a softer brush. Instead of 100%, I could do like something soft and bring back his face a little bit so that I can keep the features of Thor in this image without taking out the image that I've added in the back. And last but not least, I'm going to do another image. I'm going to look for an image of a planet or the moon or something like that. So how about Saturn? Saturn. And so I'm going to find a nice image of Saturn, something like this or like this. And drag this. I'm going to just put this on my desktop right here. Instead of saving it, I could just drag as well. And then I'm going to go back to photopea. Put this in the image, or you could do open in place. Notice that I've got this on another layer, and I'm going to place this somewhere like up here, like somewhere right there. And in this image, I'm going to add another blend mode. So here, let's try overlay again. No, let's try soft light. Let's try lighten. Lighten seems to work because it keeps the lighter pixels but deletes the darker pixels. So any of these that work best, you want to try whatever you like, and keep the image that mixes in to your best liking. This is a lot of this is trial and error. And so, I don't know, I could put it here, I could put it here. It's up to you. And once you are set, then you can save it and turn it in. Always double click if you're in photopea to put your name on it before you download it. So if you're using photopea, you're gonna save as PSD, download it to your computer, and then turn it into Schoology. If you're using Photoshop, then save as, and then put your name on it, and then save it as Photoshop. Okay? Good luck.